Hey guys, what's up? Fan here again, and today I'm bringing you guys another video, and this time the video is actually going to be something quite different. So today I'm going to try and cover some of the games that were in the Heroes of the Dorm tournament in the grand finals between my team UC Berkeley Golden Bears and Arizona State's Dream Team. Now, basically, what I'm going to be aiming to do today is I'm going to cover a few of the key games, and I think the first key game here is this game, Game 3 on Haunted Mines. Now, if you haven't watched any of these games, make sure to do so. I'll provide links in the description below, so you can just pause this video right now, go to the links below if you don't want to be spoiled, and watch the games first. But however, what I'm going to be doing today in this video is I'm just going to be going over kind of the thought process between all of the games. I'm going to be going over how the shot calling worked because I was the shot caller for UC Berkeley Golden Bears. So I'm going to kind of explain, what the shot calling was at each point in time during the critical games. And I'm also going to be kind of looking at the fights in each game and analyzing, what went wrong or what went right and kind of explain the thought process behind that as well. So yeah, basically this is just going to be a very heavy analysis and a kind of thought process slash shot calling analysis video. So without further ado, let's start here. So you can see right here, the first instance is going to be in the third game. The timer is 53 seconds, so this is very, very early on. You have the normal four-man lane in one lane and one-man lane in the second on Haunted Mines here. Our opponents have rotated their lane to match ours because that's exactly what you need to do against a Sylvanas on this lane. Otherwise, Sylvanas will just absolutely crush you through pushing. So, they've rotated their quad lane up here to deal with us. And you can see that their lane is actually very dangerous with a Diablo Tyrande, initiation with a follow-up polymorph as well as the Jaina burst. So both of us up top are kind of just clearing the wave. We have better wave clear with Sylvanas Tassadar, which is aiming down the creep minions there. And here I realized that even though we have the better creep wave, I can't really go up to hit their towers at all because of the Diablo Tyrande. So basically what I did here was I said, okay, we cleared the creep wave. I'm going to rotate bottom. You guys play careful top. And what this rotation does is that ETC was actually getting pushed back by Vala, and I did not want mines opening with, ETC having to deal with a giant creep wave and choosing between going into the mines or getting, experience from that creep wave. So you can see what I did here was I came bottom, I put the pressure onto the Vala player, and I basically just cleared out their entire minion wave. And you can see what this does is now the mines are opening in 14 seconds, as you can see on the bottom here. And the Vala player has to deal with this enormous, this is basically an entire creep wave worth of minions. And, this is going to make it so that she has to deal with these minions if she wants the experience, which means they're going to be late into going to the mines. So you can see immediately after we deal with that, we rotate both ETC and myself back up to the top entrance here. And they realize that we're going to have 5 people up there and their Vala is stuck bottom, so they are forced to give up the top entrance. We get into the mines before them, and basically that one small rotation kind of snowballs into this lead where we get access to the skulls much faster than ASU does. And you can see the result here. We already have 38 skulls collected, they only have 2. Now here the second thing happens, right? So I was on the left side getting all of the skulls here. You can see me right here, and my teammates are all up here. And ASU sees me here, and they basically have me surrounded, right? So what they thought I was going to do was, they thought I was going to just make a beeline towards my team because, that is the obvious thing to do. However, I saw them, I saw how many people were there. I realized that there was absolutely no way I could make it over to my team without me taking substantial amounts of damage or dying. So the call here was basically, I'm not going to go to my team. My team is going to come to me. And basically, instead of me going to the right, I'm going to go to the left and up to maximize the amount of time ASU, has to spend in order to reach my positioning. So I'm going to play this slowly. You can see I turned left, right, instead of going where they expected me to go. So the first spell, the Lunar Blaze, immediately whiffs there. And you can see at this point in time, my team has rejoined me. So basically, this is a 5 versus 5 team fight where they're down a Lunar Blaze and playing it on. You can see that the Blizzard here was also dropped to kind of stop me from getting over to my team. It also kind of acts as a zoning, but for the most part, this Blizzard did nothing. So basically, they were down a Blizzard, they were down a Lunar Blaze, and at that point, they just don't have the damage to do anything, right? So by not going to the right and instead going to the left and, telling my team to come to me, we managed to set up an extremely beneficial fight here. And you can see, because all their spells missed, they weren't even close to killing me, and now their Diablo who charged in is stuck in the back. So now at this point, basically, it's a 5 versus 4. I'm calling for an engage because 5 versus 4, we have a severe advantage. And basically, we're just going in on them, trying to get a kill. Now, ASU here has a lot of healing, and they did a good job kind of spreading out the damage they take, so none of them ended up dying. They all managed to get out alive. So that was very good play on their part. However, they did have to forfeit the mines here, and you can see that we have a very big skull lead now. We have 63 skulls, and at this point, all of our team was kind of chunked and low on mana and all that. So we did the pretty common thing here. We just gave up the golem. If we had tried to start the golem, they would have came back with full HP, contested it, and we would have risked losing both the golem and our members' lives, right? So instead, of course, right now, pretty standard, we just decided to give up the big golem and take the knights on top of the map instead. So overall, this is still really good for us, right? We have the knights, we have a far bigger golem, and you can see here we're going to rotate to our golems here in a second and also take those. So we're feeling very comfortable at this point in time. We have more mercenary camps, higher experience, more kills. Basically, at this time, everything's going our way, and it's going exactly as planned. Now, when you have the bigger golem on Haunted Mines and you also have Sylvanas, that actually ends up being something that's incredibly important because Sylvanas on this map with a bigger golem just means you can just push really, really hard. The fort is guaranteed yours, and you can probably even take out a good chunk of the wall. So, watching here, I'm probably gonna fast forward this a little bit, but as you'll see, we're going to very easily get their fort here. So, as you can see here, Sylvanas already freezing both towers with a huge golem chunking down their minion wave here. There's really not much they can do about this. And, the Sylvanas is freezing the fort, which is going to be the main source of damage against the golem. So the golem is staying very, very healthy. And, this is basically Sylvanas on Haunted Mines, just classic heavy, heavy push. So right now I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the next fight to kind of give you guys an idea of what happens next. Hey guys, alright, so this is the next point that was really a big turning point and a big throw for us. So as you can see in the bottom, the mines are opening in 20 seconds, and the situation here was we are much closer to level 10 than they are. We were a whole level ahead, right? So we can see ASU went into the mines top right now, and the call here was everyone come bottom to go in, ETC go ahead and soak until we're 10, and then everyone go in. However, you can see the first really big thing that happened here was that what ended up happening was that Suppy, our Rhaegar player, saw that someone needed to soak, and he thought that he was close to the top lane, so he wanted to soak the top lane. So that was the first major problem. As you can see, he splits up, and now our team is not all together at the bottom entrance. So now we only have 4 people there. The second problem was that we went in before we were actually level 10. We were about like 2 or 3 creeps from hitting level 10 at this point. So the culmination of those two problems, our Rhaegar player not being with the team here, we kind of assumed we had everyone except ETC here because that was the call. And the second thing was we went in preemptively because we did not expect ASU to be camping the bottom entrance there. So what they did there was very, very smart. They realized that if we all, entered bottom at the same time and we were level 10, they would have absolutely completely lost control of the mines because, that's a very easy fight for us to take level 10 to 9. They would have had to give us basically like close to 100 skulls at that point. So they ambushed us bottom, and because we did not wait until we were level 10 and because we did not have Rhaegar, they managed to get 2 free kills here, and that was just an absolutely huge turning point for them. If they did not pull off this move, I think they would have lost the game right here. However, there was a very good move on their part, and basically this one move gives them control of 70 skulls. It gives them all of the small camps, because we cannot contest 3 versus 5 whatsoever, so we can't go down into the mine. However, at this point, we still had a chance to contest the big golem once everyone was up, right? So that's what the original plan was. However, ASU once again camps the top entrance here, and you can see that our players once again made the same mistake, didn't go in at the exact same time, and they picked off the Rhaegar there for free. So at this point, basically what happens is that we have to concede all 100 skulls, right? It's 4 versus 5. We cannot win that fight, so basically we're just doing knights at this point, getting the consolation prize, and we pretty much have to let them get the 100 skull golem. So basically, what happens now is, as far as Shotcalling goes, I told my team we absolutely cannot let them get to their 100 skull golem. If they get to that golem, we're probably just going to lose a keep and lose the game. It's just way, way too hard to defend. So I told my team immediately after we do the knights, we're going to look for the fight. We're going to stop them from reaching their 100 skull golem at all costs. And here we managed to, we saw like the entire ASU team bottom, so we immediately went in on them. And you can see right now it's we basically just initiate all in on them. And you can see in this fight, their tank went in, so he is very, very far separated from the backline here. They used Starfall over here as well as the Blizzard. They were trying to focus me down, but they just, without like a stun, they did not have the damage to focus me down here. And we just went through. I have a 4-man Metamorphosis. We got a 4-man Wailing Arrow, and that basically completely decimates their backline. And there's really not much they can do at that point. You can see at this point we're basically just chasing their backline. Trying to get as many kills as we can. I realize I completely run out of steam and back off right before I die. We managed to get one more person, and overall this trade ends up being a 3-for-1 trade in favor of our team. So this was exactly what we wanted. We wanted the fight before they reached the golem, and what this did is, basically we have 4 members now defending their 100 skull golem, and they can't rejoin their golem at all because most of their members are dead. So at this point, this 100 skill golem, the only thing it did was get the 4 and maybe 1 tower. So this was very, very important in terms of kind of getting the game back to even. And you can see they're trying to regroup with their golem, but they realize it's just going to die before they can all get there. So now they're just going to go take another objective, which is very smart of them. And yeah, so now the 100 skull golem is dead, and we've managed to survive a 100 skull golem, which is very good for us. So now, we're once again going as a group here, and the next engagement is actually pretty close, so I'm just going to let this video run all the way through. You can see us clearing the golems that they stole, and, they're basically just murking. This is pretty standard on their part. And of course, at this point in time, the game is just basically even. You can see the levels are very even. We were actually closer to level 13 than they were. And that's actually the main reason for the cause of the next fight, which you will see in just a second here. So right here, we saw them going over here, and we see their entire team. And the thing about this engagement was we were about 2 creeps or 2 minions from hitting level 13. So the shot call here was, I'm going to kill 2 minions, you guys just wait until I kill 2 minions, and as soon as we're 13, we're just going to hard engage on them, because we already have proven that our composition is stronger in straight up team fights, and we're going to be a talent up on them. So that was the call, let me kill 2 creeps, get us to 13, and then hard engage on them. And you can see that's exactly what's happening. I'm up there trying to kill some creeps. And at this point, I realized that they're all running away. We didn't even get the desired engage we wanted into this corridor. So I realized we need to stop them from running away. We need to go on them right now. We're going to get 13 as soon as one more creep dies. So the shot call here was just go on them, right? Just go, let's fight, let's do this. And here the main problem of this fight emerged. The ETC stage dive completely whiffed everyone, which was really unfortunate. If it had been, a bit farther back, like right here, it probably would have cut off most, if not all, of their team, and they would have absolutely gotten annihilated there. However, you can see here we did turn 13 from one state creep dying, so I really wanted this fight. I really wanted this fight. Went in there, um, and basically at this point, they dropped the Starfall as well as the Fire Breath, right? So I just flipped over the Diablo. So at this point, I'm thinking this fight's still pretty good because I'm not getting hit by Fire Breath or the Starfall. However, the main problem here was that my team wanted to kill the Diablo as well, and basically they ended up running into this Starfall Lightning Breath combo, right? Which is just an insane amount of AoE damage. The proper play here basically would have been to back out as soon as you saw both of these things to conserve your life point total, maybe go around this way to regroup with me, but whatever you do, do not enter into this kind of AoE. And I think I was shouting like back, back, back the entire time as soon as I saw this. And you can see that my team did go back, but at that point it was already too late, unfortunately. There was a very big strafe there by ASU, forcing a lot out of us as well. I had to get Ancestral because I got chunked so hard by the strafe. And you can see that our team at this point is just too low because they took way too much damage from the Lightning Breath and Starfall combo there. So at this point, once again, we lose 2 members right before mines open. So once again, it's a very uphill battle for us. That's very bad for us, and they get to go into the mines. They have access to the mines, and we once again pretty much have to give up like the first 60 to 70 skulls, right? Because they're just gonna get all the small camps. We cannot go in 3 versus 5. It would be very dangerous against Diablo, Turon, Brightwing. And that's exactly what happens here. You can see they're getting all the skulls once again. They get huge skull advantage on us once again, which is really unfortunate because, the fight that we set up was a fight where we would and should have completely annihilated them had the ETC stage dive cut them off. But, no big deal at this point. It's 13 versus 14. It's completely still doable. And we can see both teams are just posturing here. We're running, and at this point I said, no, you're going too far, pull back a little bit, and it's just kind of like a dance, right, back and forth between the golem. And funnily enough, at this point I'm saying, where are you guys going? We're going way too far back. We need to defend the golem, so once again we go up a little bit, and see them starting the golem. I come up there, swoop a few skulls there, and at this point, I'll just rewind like a couple seconds here. At this point, basically the next major fight happens, and I want to pause it just a second before it happens to kind of explain the position, right? So basically right here, you can see what happens here is our ETC is set up very well in the front line. He's out in front, and ASU basically wanted to get as much poke damage onto him as possible, and they realized that they actually managed to get quite a bit of damage on him, so they decided to initiate onto the tank. However, that was in the end a mistake on their part, right? Because ETC still started from basically full HP. He is a very tanky hero, and there was very little chance that they're gonna be able to kill him from 100-0 if our team backs him up. Remember, we have Tassadar Shield, Ancestral, Wailing Arrow to disrupt their engagement, right? So very little chance they could kill him, but they went for him anyways, and that was the main point of, that was the main reason why their comp got completely split up here. So you can see at this point in time, the Diablo flipped the ETC, and ETC loudspeakered him back, right? And I wasn't just gonna let them kill our ETC. As soon as I saw that Diablo charge in, I called for the engage. And let me just play it one more frame here. And you can see at this point, the Diablo, because he charged in over here, he's isolated from the rest of his team. And basically, what happens here is in their backline, we have an Illidan, we have an Archon, and we have our tank closer to their backline than their tank. So at this point in time, their backline has completely been compromised. They have a lot of pressure over there. We even have a Sylvanas in prime position to hit their backline with Willing Arrows and just all of her abilities, right? So I'm going to play out this fight. You can see a really good Willing Arrow hits 2 people, a good stage dive hits 2 people, and their backline is compromised at this point, right? And basically, I just go in, get like a 2-man meta, and at this point, there's nothing they can do. Their backline got compromised by an Illidan, by Archon, and it's Sylvanas, and there's absolutely nothing they can do at that point. And we can see the famous WoW gif there. And that's exactly the reason why we won that fight, and we managed to, get a golem out of it here. Now keep in mind that at this point, we're not completely out of it. We're not like hugely in the lead, because immediately prior to this, remember that we died. We had 2 people die, right? So they still have the golem advantage. They have a huge golem, and we have like, a very minimal experience lead. We don't have a talent up, right? So at this point in time, for all intents and purposes, ASU is still kind of ahead, just because of their huge skill count. And you can see right now it's pretty normal. The golems are spawning. Both teams are taking the mercenary camps in that time to try and maximize what they can do. And this was very, very hard for us because this time, we already took that fight. So all our ultimates are down. We didn't really have an option to kind of fight them before they reach the golem again. So at this point, we basically just had to defend the golem, right? And they reached their golem successfully, and now we have to be very careful. So the call here was to be very, very careful. Obviously, poke the golem if you're ranged and you can, but whatever you do, do not die. Because if anyone dies at this point, it turns the risk of, losing a keep into the risk of losing the game. So once again, I said, just try and poke the golem down as much as you can, but whatever you do, conserve your HP. Do not, risk dying at all. And basically, what I said here was, if they continue on into our core, we will turn on them. We were like maybe 1 creep away from level 16. Their golem is not strong enough to take out our keep. We will just turn on them and wreck them if they come into our core. And ASU here does not take the bait. They also realize that their golem is not strong enough to take the core, and they leave and continue to press their advantage by taking map control and taking the camps. So very, good play and good strategies for that decision for ASU. And moving on over here, you can see that they backed also to defend our golem, and they have a mule repairing their keep. So at this point, once again, I would put ASU in the lead because we lost the keep. Experience is basically even, and damage we got to their keep, they have a mule repairing it, right? So overall, still advantage ASU in the grand scheme of things. And basically what I wanted here was I wanted another fight. All our ultimates were up, and ETC was basically split pushing top. So I really wanted another fight because we had already proven that every 5 versus 5 engage we got, we were winning. So naturally the inclination would be to take another fight because we were the stronger team fight composition, and it seemed like we were the stronger team fight team, right? So notice here, I knew that ASU was not showing on the map whatsoever. I knew that they were in some bushes. I didn't particularly know it would be in these ones, but I knew they were hiding somewhere on the map, right? So notice our positioning here. The rest of our team is very grouped up here. We have 4 people. ETC can stage dive in at any time, and I'm out in the front as the tank because I have first aid up, I have metamorphosis up, and I have evasion up. And evasion with 6th Sense actually reduces all damage by 50%, right? Not to mention, we once again have this classic setup where we have the Ancestral ready right behind me, we have the shield ready right behind me, and we have the Wailing Arrow ready to disrupt them, right? So we were kind of asking for the engage here, and ASU gave it to us. So from their position, they saw that I was out of position because they couldn't see how well the rest of our team was set up here, right? So this was also a very good setup by ASU, and you can see as soon as he comes over here, He flips me into the stun, but you can see how ready we were. Before the stun even hits, Tassadar had already shielded me. And, our team was very, very much in position here. And the other important thing about this fight is that before the stun could hit me, I actually got my evasion off. So all the damage that they're doing to me in this period of time is reduced by 50%. Otherwise, you can see how clean their engage was, right? The second the Diablo charged me, the Brightwing poured it onto the Diablo. The Brightwing comes in as soon as the stun lands, and he polys me, right? With the Critter Eyes amplified damage. And you can see that their Vala player, their three DPS players are basically right on top of me, and they can do maximum amounts of damage. So overall, this was a very good setup by both teams. However, we had, the better composition, and because of the shielding, because of the ancestral, and because of the sixth sense, there was just no way they could burst me down in time. They should have chosen another target. And you can see they actually managed to burst me down to about 40% of my HP. They pretty much dropped everything they had on me, and the rest of our initiation came in. You can see the Ancestral came in, the Wailing Arrow comes in on 2 people, silencing 2 of their damage dealers, and at this point, they've already used all of their stuns on me, so I can just go ahead and Metamorphosis on top of them. We have the Stage Dive, and, I had a 3-man Metamorphosis there, and they had already used all of their initial burst damage on me the first time around, and I got Ancestral, so they really had nothing left in the tank after that. So once again, we managed to take a very good fight. We killed 3 of them for, I believe, no losses whatsoever. And now it's a 5 versus 3. We're going to go ahead and, of course, take their bottom keep to prevent that mill from killing it even farther. The call here was to go for picks, because if we got one more pick, we could have gone for the core. However, they were playing very safe. Only the Brightwing was playing up because he had Blink Heal. And the thing here was that their respawn timers were like 10 to 5 seconds away, and we had 2 players just without any mana whatsoever. So at this point in time, basically we decided to not all in the core, right? Because the respawn timers were very short, and we had used all of our ultimates already, and we had 2 players with no mana. So that's not a very good situation for all in a core. So we go ahead and back off. Everyone's going to get mana, reset, and we will kind of, meet up again in the next mines, which you can see at the bottom. Next mines is going to be opening in 10 seconds. Alright, so once again, here you can see that their keep advantage is actually doing a number. There was 3 catapults there. The shot call there was that, yeah, we're just going to give them some skulls in the beginning. We're going to concede the earlier mines in order to kill those catapults, because those catapults opened up a risk of them backdooring our keep. They would have definitely reached our keep and put us on a timer. So I just let them have the earlier entrance into the mines in exchange for clearing those catapults and negating that backdoor risk. And you can see this gives them a slight skull advantage. That's why they have more skulls than we do. However, it's still very doable. And once again, I'm looking for the fight, right? Because we've pretty much won every single 5 versus 5 engagement. Looking for the fight. They realize that this is very bad for them. We have a very good concave on them, and they back off. And immediately after they back off, they all make another good call. They go straight to the core. Now, at this point, we already knew they were going to the core because we had that watchtower, and it was very obvious by the way they were kind of positioning that they were going for the core. I wanted to kill this golem before they reached it, but it became apparent that we could not do that. So we called for the stage dive, and after the stage dive, I told Zero to be very careful not to die, and dying is the only way they're going to get anything out of that. And, Zero gets out of there, and at this point, even though it was a good move by ASU, it actually ended up hurting them, right? Because I believe the Jaina used her water elemental on the core. So at this point, our core had not taken any damage outside of shield damage, and their Jaina is now down a water elemental. So we basically reset in the exact same position as before, except they are down 1 heroic. So this is very, very good for us, and the shot call here was everyone go back into the mines, into top. we're gonna get that golem, and then we're gonna play on. We're gonna hit 21st, and we're gonna win the 20 fight and try and end there. However, something once again disastrous happened. Much like the level 10 disaster where Rhaegar was not with the team. Here, I guess, our Tassadar player didn't hear the shot call to go top through the mines, and he wanted to go through bottom, kind of hesitated, and, he got caught out of the mines here, even though we had free entrance into top mines. He almost made a really good juke play. Unfortunately, Fam with the strafe manages to knock him off his horse and get him out. And here is another thing I wanted to talk about, right? So we saw that the Tassadar was dying, and of course, the call there was, okay, well, he's probably dead. We have to get this golem before they kill him. We'll just use that time that he's buying for us to get the golem. And I very specifically remember, multiple members of the team saying, okay, we should leave one skull behind. And that's exactly what I said as well. We need to leave one skull behind, force them to come back into the mines to get that one skull, because that'll take them 10 to 15 seconds to do. And, those 10 to 15 seconds will buy enough time for Tassadar to be back up in time to defend their push, right? And right here, I hear, one of my team members say, oops. And it was like the most soul-crushing moment ever, because I realized that, I was doing the math, I was looking at the skulls, and I was like, why does it add up to 100? It should only add up to 99. And I realized that one of my teammates had accidentally picked up the last skull. And, I remember saying that, well, that oops might have just cost us this game, because now their golem is spawning right on top of our core. Our Tassadar is still dead for like 20 to 30 seconds, and it's going to be a 5 versus 4 with a 50 skull golem right on top of our core. So this is a very, very dire situation. If I were to just look at the situation right now, I would say that the red team has a very big potential to just win the game right here. And, there was nothing really we could do. We had to just play on, even though the circumstances were so dire for us. And basically, the call here was, yeah, we have to just win the 5 versus or 4 fight, right? We're just going to have to beat them in a 4 versus 5 on our core, and we need to do it soon before that golem spawns and starts whacking on our core. So here, you'll see that we get into position again, and I see that the Jaina is to the kind of left of the rest of their team, and I just went in for a QW. The point here was to try and force something out of the Jaina. So, anything she used, if she used Blizzard, it would be down for 12 seconds, which would give us a really good advantage going into the fight. And you can see here that that's exactly kind of what happened. She didn't use Blizzard, but she got scared and popped Sprint. So now Jaina's 60-second sprint is down, and that's her only escape slash, kind of initiation mechanic, right? So Sprint is down before the fight even begins. However, I see that we have no time. The golem is super close to spawning, and we need the fight here, right? So here we kind of get into position again. We bait them towards me because they're trying to kill me. Once again, you can see all of them going up to me here. And right here, I try to get the 5-man metamorphosis. Unfortunately, Kotank was a little bit too far out of the way. He manages to just walk out there. Circle is not big enough. But I did manage to hit all of the other 4 people, right? So that's going to be a 4-man metamorphosis, which means I have, a bonus like 1200 HP or whatever. And on Illidan with first aid, with evasion, with the 50% damage reduction, that basically means I'm almost unkillable for the duration of this metamorphosis. So you can see really big metamorphosis there. Because I was the only one in their team, they had no choice but to focus me. Let me just back off one second here. Show you the positioning for that.
The fight, which means he can't help out. This could be a 5v4 effectively. If Fan goes down, this could be the end of the game. It's very important here for ASU to try to stall as much as possible.
Alright, so you can see here, I'm the only person that's remotely close to their team, right? So they are really forced to engage on me. So once again, our positioning as a team is very good. They have no choice but to engage on me with my 1200 bonus HP from the 4-man metamorphosis. You can see they get me down to 50%. I get metamorphosis. And at this point, what happens is, they used everything on me. They used the water elemental, they used the mark, Jaina used her combo, and basically, after you use all that and I get Ancestral, you have nothing left in your tank, right? Because uh, Jaina and Tyrande, these are burst champions. When you don't have Mark anymore, when you don't have the poly with the amplified damage, when you don't have your water elemental combo, you have no damage left, right? So at this point, they have no damage left except for their Vala, the only consistent damage dealer in their team. And you can see that our team started focusing the Vala. I go back for the Vala here, and at this point, once again, they have no damage. I still have 1200 bonus HP, so I'm unkillable. Suppy managed to just get out of that water elemental, and, you can see the Jaina goes down there because she didn't have sprint, so she had no way out. And in all that time, our Tassadar managed to respawn, and he can now shield the core, right? And of course, we have our golem on top of their core as well. So basically, the crux of that fight was really just one, our positioning, two, kind of forcing anything out of them that we could prior to the fight, and we managed to get the Jaina's sprint. And three was the four-man metamorphosis there, and then we also had a really good engage. We had a two-man wailing arrow on them that ultimately led to the death of that Vala. And after the Vala died, once again, they just had no damage left in their tank to kill anything. So at this point, game's still not over. We're level 20 to level 19. Their core is at 35%, but they do have a mule, right? So it's going to go back up to 100 if we leave it alone long enough. So right here, basically what I'm doing is I'm just resetting my Metamorphosis ult. I'm waiting for my teammates' ults to back up again. We have a 20 to level 19 window, so the call was to take all the mercs on the map, and then, as soon as my ult is up, we're going to fight them again with this 20 to 19 window. And, we're playing, so we just finished getting all the mercenaries on the map, and now we're going to be very aggressive and try and fight them. And you can see how scared they are right here. We go over to their watchtower, and they immediately run back. And at this point, they're actually really close to 20. So they are actually only like one creep wave away from 20. So I was gonna start this siege camp, but I decided not to because I realized if they get one more wave of creep experience, they would be level 20, and I did not want them to get a 20 versus 20 fight, right? I did not want them to have that even footing. So at this point in time, all our ults are back up. I think most of their ults are also back up. And I saw that they had a mule on their core, and they were one wave of experience away from level 20. So I said, we have this one wave of timing window where we're 20 and they're not. Let's just go into their base and fight with our advantage. So you can see that's exactly what we do. We don't let them get 20. We just go in there. And the call here was, push for the core. You can see we got 3-man meta, 2-man wailing arrow. Push to the core, and then as soon as their heroes back up to their core, we're going to all in their core. And of course, we have a Illidan as well as a Twilight Archon on top of their core. So, their sub 50% core really stood no chance at that point in time. So that was how, we managed to end up winning the game there, just off of that little bit of timing window. So, that was basically the whole story in terms of Game 3. I really felt like it was a roller coaster ride of a game. Just because we should have won convincingly, but miscommunications within our team made it a very close game. But, I wanted to kind of analyze the game for you guys. It was one of the more exciting games of the finals. And I wanted to kind of, show you guys what the shot calling process and ideas were in this game. So thanks for watching, guys. I realized that the video actually ran to be very, very long, unfortunately. But, I did want to be as in-depth as possible. So glad you guys watched the entire video if you managed to make it this far. And, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for any, future Heroes content. I'm going to be going back to making a lot of Heroes videos about, just heroes and maps and whatnot, just like I usually do. And yeah, make sure to subscribe for that. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the section below, and I'll try and get back to you guys as soon as possible. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys next time.